Welcome to the J.Geiger Studios podcast, where we help you achieve your ideal outcome. We're here to provide value to you and your organization every step of the way. I'm your host and guide on this journey, Jeff Geiger, and I'm happy you are here with us today. Today in the studios, we have Jennifer Stephany, not related to Gwen, that I know of. She's the executive director at Appleton Downtown Inc. So welcome.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for inviting me.
I'm so glad you could make it.
Yeah. It was a beautiful walk down the street today.
The 3 blocks.
Yes, I love that.
Yep. And you
Quick
get
and
stopped all the
convenient.
way down because everybody knows you.
I had a couple conversations on my way over.
Yeah,
That's the beauty of neighborhood, right?
That's right. You love it?
I do.
Yep.
I love it.
So, what was the nature? Like, can you share any of the topics of what you talked about on the way over?
Usually it's, hey, what's happening with that building?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it was today.
Okay. Gotcha.
I got a chance to talk a little bit about Fox Commons and let a passerby know what's happening. We didn't even know each other. We just started talking at the red light, and before you know it, you're in a full-blown conversation. And that's community.
That is what it's all about. Yeah, there's not too many vacant buildings in our downtown, is there?
We have a few. We just calculated our kind of end of year vacancy. We're sitting at about 22%, which
does that
is
include
up.
Office too?
It does. It does. So that's up a bit from previous year.
So that probably skews it a bit, I'd imagine.
It does. So, the challenge with calculating something like that is what's in construction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not able to be occupied at this point. So we take some of those properties out of the mix, and we try to track by unit within, which gets really complicated because sometimes units get combined, sometimes they disappear altogether.
There's so much change happening down here. How do you keep up with? Because we've got the residences too coming in. We've added hundreds of residences, right?
We have. Actually, that number. It's quite a big number. Adding in the proposed units within the Lawrence West campus, which is 42 units, we will clock in at 536 new housing units between 2020 and 2025.
Wow.
So in a 5-year stretch, that's a pretty good number.
So that should bring 1 to 2 people per unit?
Correct.
So between 500 and 1,000 new people in our downtown.
More.
And then more. Right. Wow.
There are a number that have families.
Yay, downtown.
So yay, downtown.
That's right.
On the rise.
You're so passionate about downtown.
I love my work.
Yeah.
I absolutely love my work. When you stop and you think about your personal journey to where you are in your career, and you get up each morning and go, what do I get to do today? Versus what do I have to do today? And I think that's a really important distinction between loving your work and just, doing your work.
Wow. Well, we are blessed to have someone like you on our
thank you.
Leading the charge for the downtown. So how did you, you grew up over on the lakeshore, right?
I did, in Sheboygan.
How did you get to Appleton then? So was this your first job here? Or?
It was not. So I went to college in Oshkosh and got my undergrad there.
UWO grad too?
Yeah.
Oh, how about that? There's a bunch of us here.
Yes. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
See, there are those noises I told you. You're going to hear a lot of those.
We're not going to take it out in post editing.
No, leave it in. It's fun. It's who I am. So Oshkosh for undergrad. I did my master's program with Silver Lake College. While I was doing that, I was working, and I was working at the Building for Kids, which was the Fox Cities Children's Museum back in the day. Yep. They were 3 years old at the time, and I worked there for, I think it was about 2 or 3 years.
Was it in the same location
Same location,
is now?
But it was up. So it didn't come all the way down to the first floor. It started on the second floor. You entered.
I think I heard
on
Oliver.
The second floor.
He's the current director there.
Correct,
Oliver was talking about that the other day. So it was on the second floor.
You entered on the second floor. So you came out of the parking ramp.
Sure.
And it had this big open entry point on the second floor.
Okay. Yeah. And that's old Prangy's building where the city hall's in the upper floors now. And wow.
Yeah. So I did that gig. It was actually about 3 years. And when I left the museum, I took a position in New London, and I ran the Chamber of Commerce as their executive director, and I stayed there for about 5 years.
Okay. And that kind of paved the way for this
did.
role?
Yeah. Yeah. It really brought my love of bringing private enterprise and entrepreneurship together with building community. And that has been just the core of my work, and how you build relationships and move projects forward. How do you bring the right people to the table and identify what's good for a whole community and then get it done?
So what I'm hearing you say is that relationships are absolutely crucial in this.
100%. It is my love language. As they say.
So were there a few things that were the key things that you learned at the Chamber in New London that, like, what were the top things that you kind of picked up there that kind of got you to be successful here? I mean, relationships you mentioned already.
Relationships, 100% relationships. Sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut and your ears open and just listen and then start to act. And don't
Did
be.
you struggle with that?
I did.
Did it cause some problems? Okay, are there any of them that you could talk about?
I wouldn't say it caused problems.
Okay.
But I was 25 years old and ready to take on the world, and storming in, and what can I get done? And it was one of those, whoa, slow your roll, right? Like, we have a way of doing things here in our community, and you need to meet the people first and listen to them, and then decide what you're going to do. So I had to take a step back. Okay. For sure.
Good. Yeah, I suppose that one thing, like I always call it the long game, at least recently. It's something that comes with maturity and like experience and kind of going through and getting hit in the face a few times. I've had some problems where I've opened up my mouth in the past where a little too premature, maybe I shouldn't, and
been there.
Stuck my foot in it.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't taste so good.
No, not so good at all.
Yeah, that's really cool. So then,
good learning.
Now you live here in Appleton, and
I do.
And you don't quite walk to work, but pretty close.
I don't walk to work, but it's 7 minutes.
That is
door to door.
That's almost nothing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I get to park in covered parking.
Yeah, there's tons of covered parking in downtown Appleton.
It's phenomenal,
and it's actually less distance most of the time for us to get from our car to the door than it is if I'm going to Shields or somewhere at the mall.
Oh, for sure.
To get from my car door to their door. Right. And it's all undercover if I want it to be.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be, but
if I
want it to be.
I as well. I'll go from the ramp.
Would you say that's one of the misunderstood things about our downtown is the parking? Honestly,
parking gets a bad rap down here. And I think a lot of it is that misunderstanding of what's available, how much parking we have, the fact that we have some really affordable parking meters. If you are willing to walk an extra block or two, you can
Do the prices go down the further away you go? Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that.
So if you go north of Washington Street, the rate drops to, I believe it's $0.25 an hour.
Okay.
And you can park for, I think, up to 12 hours.
And it's like a quarter every 15 minutes if you're like on the avenue or whatever,
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite a difference.
Right?
No, you're only allowed, you could keep going and plug in your meter, but you're only allowed to do, I know, but they don't mark the cars here. You're not supposed to do that? You're supposed to leave?
You think they don't mark the cars.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. There's automated parking enforcement now.
Automated.
They have these giant helicopters that fly over and they shine a spotlight. No, it's not quite like that.
No, they don't.
It's basically a car that drives down with a bunch of cameras, like the Google car, but different. So
but the meters that are, like I said, north of Washington, those are long-term meters, so you can park for a longer stretch of time.
So if you're planning to be here more than 2 hours, go park a couple blocks north of.
Better yet, park in a parking ramp. That's what they're there for.
Pay just a few bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, a parking ramp is there for long-term parking. If your stay is more than 2 hours, especially, right? Because our meters are 2 hour.
Right. I'm a big proponent of the ramps. I think the ramps are great.
The ramps are amazing.
The city does a really great job keeping them up.
Absolutely.
They're really well lit. There were 2 ramps that were in rough shape, and they're gone. The Soldier Square ramp That's now been replaced,
Correct.
and it's in full use. It's been open now for about a year, right? And then the blue ramp that just was taken down.
Correct.
That was one that was behind the old Prangies building, which is now the City Hall.
Building for kids, yeah.
The building for kids and all that. Yeah, and that one, that was in pretty rough shape.
It was. It had
Probably built in the 50s.
Extended its full life term, and they had to make a decision. So that was part of the Walker study.
Yep.
That was the full parking utility study, and they made the decision that there was enough capacity and inventory in current state, and knowing that there is some development coming to remove it.
Yeah, I think it really needed it. It was a little bit of an eyesore as well.
Oh, it was rough.
Yeah. And now, right now it's green space, kind of. It's fenced in because it's kind of a construction staging spot right now.
Temporarily, yeah.
Right, but its future is?
Its future is phase 2 of merge urban developments, housing development. So
They've
phase
completed
1
phase
is
1,
Urbane.
Mhm.
Yeah, 115. And they are, well, last time I checked, and now it's been a little bit, but they were about 35% occupied already, and they had just opened in December. So I'm guessing it's probably higher than that at this point. And then they are still seeking out commercial tenants for the first floor.
Yeah, well, and
Great
however
spot.
that ends up working out, it looks beautiful on the first floor, and I can envision just about anything down there, from shops
Absolutely.
to like florist to
Wouldn't a great deli in there?
a deli. Yeah,
be
deli
really
would be
nice?
great.
Oh, a deli would be great.
Yeah,
Retail, maybe a nail salon or some kind of service
Sure.
along those lines would be awesome.
yeah. It's really a clean slate right now.
I can connect you, so just give me a call.
We have our new offices here atop of 122 East,
Yes.
third floor here.
They're beautiful.
I guess if we outgrow or outpace that, or we start another business, you never know what's going to happen.
I was
maybe.
just going to say, maybe a little art gallery.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
art
I
in
know
your
an
office.
artist.
It's beautiful. Yes, you do know an artist.
Yeah,
and she's fabulous.
She is fabulous, but I ran the numbers, and art. It doesn't move that fast, but
It doesn't.
yeah, it's a
I
tough
get it.
business.
But
So-
you could be doing other
She could.
things
She could.
in there.
Yeah. So some of the things that have happened, and if you look back at the last 4 years, we started talking about the 500 plus houses or units that'll be here for residential.
Right.
Would you say the biggest transformation that's happened down here as
Absolutely.
of late?
Yeah, definitely. As we've seen kind of adaptive reuse of some of the office space in downtown, and now these new projects like Fox Commons and 170 student housing units going in there. That's not
Where's that?
included.
Where's that?
And that's the city center reconstruction.
Okay, that's not included in
That's
that?
not included. And so that would be on top of the 536.
So
another
what was the
170
40-some units you were talking before
That
about?
is Lawrence University and the Trout Museum of Art, their new development on the east end that they're calling their West Campus building.
I see. Okay, because it's on
And
the
that
west
will
end
be
of their
market
campus.
rate housing.
Right.
That's not student housing. That's market rate public.
That'll be in the upper
housing.
floors above the museum.
Correct.
So how tall would the building there be? So that's
4.
we're talking about the corner of Drew and College.
Yes.
So there'll be 4
Yes.
stories tall.
4 stories. So Trout Museum of Art on the first floor.
Okay.
Second floor is going to be Lawrence University use. So
The classrooms and
humanities
stuff.
primarily is my understanding.
Okay.
Classroom and some office, and then market rate apartments on 3 and 4.
Excellent. Wow, that's great.
Isn't that exciting?
Probably with great views too.
Fantastic.
I mean,
Yeah.
either you're looking over the campus or you're looking over the street. I mean, maybe you're looking over the backside of it, but you're still looking at a beautiful Lawrence building.
Exactly. Your steps from the YMCA, from coffee shops and stores and salons and the trail. It's perfect.
The whole downtown
great.
is really coming to life with all the residential units being put in. Now, there are some people who are going to be maybe a little bit worried or afraid of the added traffic and all that sort of thing, but aren't we well below capacity on that for parking and traffic and people going in and out of the stores and restaurants? And I mean, we could use a lot more than what we already have, right?
We definitely have capacity. So when the city moved forward with the lane reconfiguration, they took great care in really taking a deep dive into what our traffic counts look like and what our walkability looks like, and how do we improve this neighborhood. And yeah, we did slow down traffic, but that's purposeful,
right?
Because of the walking traffic and the students walking and the residents walking and the shoppers. Everybody becomes a pedestrian at some point in downtown, and we really have to find that balance.
That was an interesting time. It seemed like the idea and the action on it was kind of sprung on the downtown, or sprung on the residents and the businesses. Like people may have known about the idea a little bit longer, but it went from idea to done in a pretty short period of time, within like 6 months, right? Maybe 9 months.
I would say from proposal to project, yes. However, walkability has been part of our discussion.
Oh, probably for decades.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I've been here 21 years, and we've been saying it for
I'm talking about the
that
solution.
long.
Like coming up with the
yeah.
And it was a little polarizing, I imagine. What did the downtown businesses say? Because you end up being the lightning rod for it all. Everybody goes after you, and you end up having to kind of take it from both sides.
So the board had obviously had some really great discussion around this, and really asked me to kind of stay in the middle and really hear out all of the concerns and be able to speak on both sides of this issue. And we really tried to do that, did the best that we could in every city committee meeting that we were in, every ADI committee that we were in, and just talked about the issues and what are the concerns and how do we approach this as a pilot program that could get reversed if we're not seeing the results that we're wanting to see. And that was really important to the business owners, is what if this tanks, and what if we start seeing a decrease in people using the parking meters and the travel time?
Are we stuck with it?
Yeah, spikes. And having been in the majority of those conversations with city council as well, and being in the room, it was very obvious that the city council members wanted to see the metrics on this, and they will be monitoring. They've done the first 6-month evaluation. They don't have all of the numbers they were hoping for, because they really want to do apples to apples comparison on those traffic counts, but the travel time increase is actually less of an increase than what they had anticipated.
They're going based on models that they did and put into a computer program and whatnot.
Yep.
And they figured it was going to take 2 to 3 minutes longer at peak times.
Yeah, and it's not anywhere near that.
Okay.
Mm-mm. And they also measured...
I think the anecdotal evidence of that would tell me the same thing. It doesn't seem like it's that at all.
No. And the parking meter revenue is the other measurement, and that's actually gone up.
Have you heard from the stores themselves? Because I would imagine that some of the storefronts and whatnot, they're worried about patronage.
Absolutely,
and all that.
100%. And I think there's still some concern out there, because I'm sure there are people that had normally traveled from one end to the other, not necessarily as a destination to downtown, but traveling through, that now take a different route. And that's a reality.
But that had come through in the traffic counts, right?
It would come through in the traffic counts, but we don't have the traffic counts yet.
Right.
So that's kind of the missing piece.
So what were the things?
We still have more to learn.
So
we still have more to learn.
So the solve on the reconfig was walkability, making it more safe and walkable, noise. What were some of the other things that we wanted to? Oh, the speeding.
Safety. Yep.
Because we had issues with people speeding or racing, depending on time of day.
For sure. The crashes are down. That's in the data.
Okay.
The
like
noise,
drastically down?
I don't have that off the top of my head.
Okay.
I apologize, but it's in the report, and you can find it on the city website. The noise issue.
Is the jury still out on that?
Yeah, I would say the jury is still out on that. I think we need to get through this summer.
It's probably guys with motorcycles and loud mufflers on their cars.
Yes, the modified mufflers. I didn't say that. I did not say that. You said that.
It's mostly not girls. I'll tell you that.
I didn't say that.
I'll take the blame on behalf of my entire sex. So.
But it's definitely motorcycles and modified mufflers that are the concern.
Yep.
And we get asked often, well, why can't you just issue a noise ordinance violation ticket? And
it takes people in enforcement to do that.
And you have to be Johnny on the spot, or however they say that, right? Because you have to be able to record it and capture that pop, 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 or whatever that noise is.
Yeah. The backfiring.
At that exact moment in order to issue any level of citation on that.
So, I guess what led me to even bring that up is that you end up becoming kind of the, like the shock absorber, shall you speak, where you've got multiple sides kind of coming at the middle of Appleton Downtown. You kind of become the collecting point of all the positives and negatives about any issue. And that's one in particular that I can imagine you're kind of squeezed in the middle on that.
That's where that's okay.
Your education back at the chamber in New London probably gave you a little bit of understanding of how to deal with those kinds of things.
Yeah, we definitely become a conduit for information, and that's where we want to be a resource, and we want to be able to bring the business owners together. There are new topics right now. The discussion around cameras in licensed premises, and also the food truck ordinance. Right. So those are the two items kind of on the table right now.
So for anyone listening, we've had we have a nightlife downtown. Most downtowns, I think, have a nightlife, and there's certain aspects of the nightlife which involve crowds and drinking and. Maybe things might get out of hand with some people, and then you might end up with some violence or something. We've had a couple incidents in our downtown, unfortunately, that one resulted in an injury within the last several months, and then one resulted in a death.
That's correct.
And so, we as a community, number one, we're reeling from that. Wondering about, well, first of all, sorry for the families that are affected by that, but then reeling, feeling. Are we safe and whatnot? And so we're I don't want to use the word react because I don't think that there's been a lot of reaction. It's been mostly responding to it, and it's been very measured. And that's kind of what you're talking about there. Absolutely.
And Chief Olson has brought the proposal forward along with a number of other safety measure improvements that include lighting, includes more walkthroughs, includes capacity checks. I mean, this doesn't stand alone, but it's certainly the one that needs the most discussion around it. Both including attorneys and property owners and the general public. So there has been good discussion, and I hope that continues. I don't think they're at a point of taking action on it yet, but we haven't seen the next safety and licensing agenda yet. So that's kind of what we're waiting on.
I would think that it's got to be a multifaceted approach where you have some things that the city can do that's within their power in order to curtail some things or maybe set up a situation where it's less likely certain negative things are going to happen. But then also, isn't it all an important thing that the businesses, because specifically the most heavy entertainment part of the avenue, like where there's the most density of that is down on the west end.
Correct.
So if they're not already involved, it'd behoove them to get involved if they're down on the west side. Be part of the conversation, be part of the solution.
Right. Absolutely. So we hosted a conversation on this before it was even an informational item, and the mayor came and spoke, and so did 8 members of Appleton Police Department. So we had some good dialogue, and we were able to ask some questions. We do have some follow-up questions to that we have brought forward, including a little more clarification on camera location, if the requirement is for an external versus an internal camera that is capturing entrance and exits. And what we heard in that discussion is if what we're talking about is internal cameras, which is the way I understand it, and if that's different, we may have to come back and correct that. But if that's the way they're proposing this, I would say the majority of bar owners that we have spoke to have that.
You mean they already have it in place?
They already have cameras in place.
Right.
Now, there's more to this ordinance change.
There might be some requirements, like they have to keep things so long and things like that maybe they're not currently doing a process thing that way.
Right. So I think it's going to be a matter of how quickly they would need to produce that as evidence and in what format.
Right.
So I think there's some of those details that we don't quite have clarification on yet.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and hopefully in the long term will have some positive effects with other tweaks that they're making, like the lighting and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And was that incident for Appleton Downtown Inc., was that one of the polarizing issues or not really, or was that something that really brought everybody together? Because I can't see people really being for or against. I mean, everybody's for safety, I would imagine.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was polarizing at all. Our hospitality committee is very active, and we get a large number of business owners that attend those meetings, and we have very pointed discussion about safety.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question about the involvement. It sounds like there's a fairly heavy involvement.
Definitely.
And then for those that don't get involved, they're communicated with, at least I imagine.
For sure.
Yeah. Wow, that's great.
Well, we try to, and of course they have to open the e-blast.
Yeah, right.
to get the information. Sometimes it's really hard to go business to business all the time. Talking about the issues. So we try to blast that out in our e-blast. But we do on a pretty regular basis. Every month we come together and have these discussions and invite either representatives of APD. We've had city council members. We've had the mayor, like I mentioned, and really want to make sure that we're having thoughtful discussion on it.
Well, it's something I've observed. I think I've been involved with the Appleton Downtown Board now for about 2 years. I've observed that everything is thought through, and that you don't generally wing anything. So, and
I don't know if I'd say that.
Well, I think things are done
really
pretty thoughtfully, and you have a really outstanding team.
I do indeed.
You've got operations staff and marketing, and
we're pretty lean.
We're pretty lean.
So we wear a lot of hats.
5 people total?
So there are 4 full-time.
Plus you.
And, I'm one of those full-time.
Oh, you are?
Full
okay.
plus. And then Sandy and Meg are like 3/4 time.
Okay, I see.
With us. So.
Yep. And then you have a host of volunteers as well. You've got some people that volunteer year over year over year.
Oh, absolutely.
And they
week
love
after
the
week
downtown.
after week.
Yeah.
Don Schumann, we love you. He's with us every week, checks in at our staff meeting. What do you need from me? How can I help? It's fantastic. Paul and Gary and the whole concert team that comes and helps every week. I don't even have to call them most of the time. I just know they're going to show up, which is amazing. It takes a village, right?
Yep, for sure.
Especially those concerts. It really, it takes about 24 people, 24 people to make that
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I kind of wonder if most people know the extent of the things that ADI does with such a short staff. I mean, you're talking 4 full-time people, 2 part-time or 3/4-time people.
Like 5.5 total.
And then a handful of, more than a handful, probably an armful of volunteers. Right, yeah. And so the weekly farmers markets.
Yes.
Every aspect of that, making sure you've got all the vendors, making sure you're working with the police,
correct,
signage, sponsorships.
Yes, garbage.
And then garbage, yeah. And you need to make sure that people are there, and you're kind of keeping an eye out and making sure that the pet ordinances are being followed. That's probably your least favorite part of it. But yeah.
Yeah. Pets.
Right. I know.
We're going to talk about that, right?
I'm looking forward to that. We're actually, I'll give anybody who's hearing this, there is some work happening to make downtown Appleton more friendly to the dog walkers.
Yes.
And make it more pet friendly from that perspective. So
absolutely,
some really great things, a lot of ideas and how we can make it happen. So we're really looking forward to what is going to happen in the next year or two with that.
We are too, and very excited to have some additional interest in moving this initiative forward. And we have to do we have to do some digging. We need to hear from the public, from the residents, from the folks that love to come downtown, what they're looking for.
And it's my understanding, and this is happening completely outside of any, like, me being aware of it, except that I know that it's happening, is Justin has been getting involved.
Yes.
And kind of pitching in, I guess, putting his shoulder to the wheel on that.
He drafted our first survey. We're doing a little editing, and we're going to get ready to put that. It's a little long. But we're gonna get there.
That shows the enthusiasm.
Exactly. We want to get some solid input on that. So be watching for that. That'll come out in the e-blast. It'll come out on Facebook. And
so back to the list of things that ADI does. We're talking farmers market, Christmas parade.
We are logistics behind the city parades.
Okay.
So the city owns Memorial, Flag Day, and the Christmas parade.
But you do the logistics.
And we have a staff member that sits on that committee and handles logistics.
That
so the
like
applications, the street closure stuff, just the communication piece.
Then you got the Thursday night summer concert series. That's a pretty big, that's become really big. There's like thousands of people show up to that. That's
lineup
beautiful.
Is almost ready. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
We've
beautiful.
got some new stuff this year. New bands.
Music and Appleton they go hand in hand. It's so great.
Absolutely. It's the thread that has pulled us all together, and it's really cool.
Agreed. Now, what are some of the other bigger things that ADI does?
So we have a series of walk events that you'll see can pop up throughout the year, from Death by Chocolate and Cultural Cuisine Walk, our new cafe walk, which we just hosted. We have a craft beer walk in the spring and the fall, a wine walk, our soup walk, which is ridiculously popular. That comes out in the fall. So those are events that are ticketed events, but it's a great way to bring the community together.
It really is. And I'll tell you, if any of those interest you, even in the slightest, try it, because the cool thing about it, and this is some feedback we heard from our team, because we bought some tickets for some of the events and handed them out to our team.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. We love our downtown. Well, our team went out and they said, "Oh, I got to go to these places I've never been in before. I can't wait to go back."
Yes, that's exactly it.
Last fall, we had trying to think of when that was. Maybe it was the year before. We brought some extra guests along from our team. Sherry, I don't know if you remember. Sherry was there. She does organizational change management. That's one of the things that we offer. Anyway, she hadn't shopped through Downtown Appleton, and she had found a couple outfits at the stores. She was with Lisa and some of the other ladies from our staff and the spouses of our staff. And she's like, "Wow, I didn't realize what a great place this is."
That's so cool.
Even since then, there's new stores that have opened. So
several new clothing stores. So Sugar Rush, though, and Pollen and Bureau. Yes.
Yep.
Come on down. Shop.
Yep, it's great.
Speaking of shopping, when is this going to come out? I should probably have asked that.
Like, I
shouldn't talk
within
about an event that. Oh yeah, all right.
Are we going to miss it?
Fashion show will be passed at that point. So
but it'll
ladies'
come around
fashion
next year again,
right?
right?
It will. Yeah, we do a ladies' fashion show where we get to highlight the spring fashions and then send everybody out to
go
explore.
check it out.
Yes.
So do the stores? They contribute product and their models to that, and then people can watch, and then you go out and shop and explore.
Yeah, we have a little continental breakfast. There's some pop-up shops. There's some activities. There's a bunch of prizes. It's very fun.
Wow, that's cool.
And we do some fundraising as part of that too. MS was our fundraising partner this year, so our nonprofit.
Nice.
Yeah.
So giving back to the community as well.
Of course, always.
So, and then there's some things that ADI does that are not so much about events, but about things. So all the flowers and the planters, you guys pay for those, right?
Hang on. Can we do one more event plug?
Yeah, go ahead.
Night market.
Oh, the new night market.
Light the night market.
How many? We did 2 last year?
We did one. Well, we did one in May, and then we have our November event, which is kind of the kickoff to the holiday season, and it was called Light Up Appleton.
Right.
So now it's all coming together, and we're going to add a July event. So it
was huge.
It was giant. It was bananas. It was so much fun.
I wasn't able to make it to it, but Justin and Kelsey went, and they said it was awesome. The energy, the fun. Were you able to go, Jordan? No, you just saw pictures. Yeah.
Oh, you missed out.
Well, I can't wait.
So much fun.
Yeah, we're actually going to be we're going to be sponsoring this year's kickoff of it, and Jordan's band will be performing. So Avenue 55.
Come check out Avenue 55. May 17th is our first date. July 19 is our second date. And then be watching for the November event, which is November 16th.
Well, I forgot about that one completely, but that is an outstanding opportunity to get out and experience downtown.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We have some new things coming that I gotta wait for the press conference to talk about.
The funny thing is on the board, I get some like we get, as you know, having been a volunteer on the board, I get to see and hear about all these things. And last year, the year before, we talked about, well, are there things that we could do that we can maybe scale back on this, or maybe put a little bit more effort towards that? And what do we end up with? We end up with more events. Is that the truth?
Oh my goodness. My staff, as they're listening, they're rolling their eyes right now because yes, that's kind of been what has happened. It's kind of our mantra.
So you drop off something that's about the size of a thimble, and then you add on something the size of a bucket.
Yeah.
So what are the things that dropped off?
I don't even think we dropped any. Oh, creative. So we used to have a Friday night series that was like Downtown Creates.
Okay.
So that we said we're not getting the foot traffic. However, the things that we loved about that, like the chalk, right?
Those
the
are
chalk
getting
feature is going to be featured at the July night market.
Right. Okay. That makes a lot of
lands
sense.
on the same night that it would have been for the chalk. So we're trying to build in some of those elements.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
And in May, we used to have student art. Well, we are going to have the coolest student art display at the May 17th event. I'm super excited.
I can't wait to hear more about that.
Oh my God. 15 sculptures that are you're going to love them. I'm just going to say you're going to love them. I'm not going to give it all away because you got to come see it.
All right.
It's going to be awesome.
I even have a first look most of the time, and it's going to be a secret to me.
Yeah. We've got some cool stuff. Like I said, we're planning a press conference, so I got to be careful what I release.
So on the 21st, which this may get released after that, the 21st we have the
annual meeting,
which is basically kind of a State of the Union of our downtown, right?
It's a little overview. It's a little bit more about ADI and the work that we do and the condition of our organization as well as the downtown.
Some stats.
I should have.
Are you bringing stats,
graphs, and things? So
especially for us analytical people.
Yeah, we share a little bit about some of the numbers and some of the new housing development investment. Peaking over $38 million in downtown. The total room nights in downtown over 100,000 room nights. I mean,
so basically in our hotels.
So
do we get information about anything where it's an Airbnb downtown? Do we know what we have downtown for Airbnbs, and do we get that info?
We don't get that info. We do have several Airbnbs in downtown of various shapes and sizes, and you'll even find them in Park Central in one of the new housing developments. They have.
I think I saw some signage for that.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, and they're beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen the apartments in
pretty.
Park Central. They are pretty awesome. Yeah, I happen to know somebody who lives over there.
I do too.
Yeah, we just won't tell you who right now.
No,
not unless he wants to say something. Anyway, so we were starting to talk about some of the other things that Appleton Downtown does. And really, so Appleton Downtown is, if I am right, you've got three organizations. Okay, so you have Appleton Downtown Inc., Creative Appleton, and then the Bid Board.
Correct.
And the Bid Board is a business improvement district?
Yeah,
is that what that's?
Nailed it. Yes. Okay. Exactly.
And the business improvement, so this is this is just what I picked up. The business improvement district, they receive funds that the city collects as forms of taxes. That's
correct.
That downtown businesses pay towards this pot of money, basically.
Building owners. Yep.
Yeah, building owners. Yep. And then that money gets reinvested in the downtown.
Right. As we do work that's been approved through our work plan, that has been through Planning Commission and City Council, as well as the Bid Board, we can get reimbursed out of that pool of money. So those dollars are directly tied to the assessed value of those properties within our district. There's a cap of $5,500 on any one property and a minimum of $275.
So what do you think the biggest impact items out of that are?
Marketing is a big line item. They help us with the image marketing work that we do and being able to really carry our brand through everything that we create. Because we want more businesses
to locate downtown. We want people to reside downtown, and we want people to shop downtown. So all those things, that drives up the value of our downtown. And so it's like in their best interest then to contribute.
And we're really excited because we have some dollars dedicated to image marketing this year. We're redoing our website, which is a big project for us that we're excited. We'll launch our new site this summer. It's in process right now. Our facade grant program and business recruitment grant program are huge assets to us.
People take advantage of that?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. We have a very active program. We like to think that it's pretty accessible grant dollars. We really try to make it worthwhile for the business owner to apply. So it's not super complicated to apply, and we can match our program with the TIF Enhancement Grant Program or ARA Enhancement Grant Program as well. So it's a great way to leverage these programs to really get some new renovation, some updated signage, because our program covers signage, which is somewhat rare in business improvement districts, but to properly brand your business is really important.
Yeah, we found that out. Yeah. And we've been working really hard at that for several years now, making a real concerted effort to be consistent to our brand.
Yeah.
So then the other two we mentioned, Appleton Downtown Inc. and Appleton Creative Downtown, or Creative Appleton Downtown Inc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one's a 501c3, one's a 501c6.
Correct.
What's kind of the difference between the two? And is there there's kind of some overlap on some of it, right?
So
it's all being operated out of the one office though, right?
It is, yes. But we have two sets of books. We have two 990s. We have two, yep.
But you have two separate missions too.
We do, but the missions align, right? So the 501c3 is really, like I have it in front of me.
You do.
Should I read it? No. It's really all about creating a vibrant and accessible downtown. So it's focused in on public art and beautification, as well as cultural experiences within our downtown. So it might be...
So the flowers, the banners...
Well, the flowers run through the bid. So
okay,
the flowers and the banners are actually a program of the Business Improvement District. Because one of the things we didn't talk about that the bid helps with is cleaning of the downtown.
Yep. And people are messy.
Life is messy.
Life
right?
is messy.
Life is messy. And the more walkability we have, the more people we have living downtown. This is somebody's front yard, right? So we take a lot of pride in a clean downtown. If you see me walking, chances are I'm picking up garbage as well as I'm walking from point A to point B. I do that a lot. My daughter rolls her eyes at me.
I'm not allowed to touch garbage. I get yelled at if I do that.
Oh, it's just
dirty
garbage.
and yucky.
Yeah,
I know. That's
fine.
what I said.
You just wash your hands.
I know. But if you don't see me picking it up, that's why.
That's why. All right. That's fair. So we work with the Riverview Gardens care team on some daily garbage cleanup. And then we have a private entity contract. We actually work with Pfefferly Management, and they collect bags, many, many bags of garbage, do many, many hours of cleanup. Graffiti removal is another piece of that pie, picking up cigarette butts and cleaning up. We wish that everybody just did that and we didn't have to invest $30,000 to $40,000 a year in cleanup, but that's what we have to do. Right. That's what we are doing.
It shows. Important. I mean, if you come down here on a Sunday morning after a Saturday market plus Saturday people partying, you'll see garbage and the garbage cans overflowing in certain areas. But that's also a sign that there's a lot happening there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. We do try to make adjustments and stuff like that so we can get at it sooner. But it's a ever-changing landscape down there.
It sure is. Yeah, absolutely. It's active and vibrant.
So the creative aspect, they're the ones who then handle the concert and bring the music. And who does that?
So ADI does the concert series. So creative is a stronger partner in the night market events because it aligns with the mission of the three. So the 6 and the 3 have a contract to co-create this event. The 3 works with Mile of Music to help to produce free music. Absolutely. And we don't own that event, but we're a partner in that, and we manage Jones Park for the Mile team, and with just logistics. We don't do any of the band booking or any of that, but we're there to help, and however they need us from sunup till sundown, past sundown. So, but we love it every minute of it.
And again, I know that you're often the conduit where you get all the positive and negative feedback that everybody has, but you're also the conduit for stuff happening down here, and the organizations in your team are the conduit for that. And the most important thing I would think is an involved community. So the businesses downtown, or if you love your downtown and you love the benefits and the things that the downtown provides, like the great eating, the great opportunity to have your friends, stay at one of the hotels when they're visiting from out of town, the concerts, you name it, then participate, contribute, join in on the conversation. If you're a business owner and you're in the downtown and you're interested in participating, reach out to Jennifer and her team. You could get on one of the boards.
Definitely a committee. Definitely. We usually try to start folks at the committee level, get an understanding of some of the work that we do, and then roll onto a board seat. There, sometimes they just step right into a board seat if that makes more sense. But we would love to have more involvement. We always are looking for more involvement. We send out an e-blast every week to our members. So
sign up for the newsletter.
If you're not getting the e-blast, please reach out to us. We've had some issues with any Yahoo account or AOL account. So we apologize.
They're cracking down.
Yeah, we're using Constant Contact right now. So if you know you have trouble with Constant Contact, please let us know, reach out for us, or check your other or spam folders, see if you can find us.
Right. And if you want to make sure that Appleton Downtown continues and grows and thrives, consider not only being a patron of our downtown in whatever way it makes sense for you in all the various ways. I mean, we could probably have a podcast for 3 hours to talk about all the things, but
let's do it. I got nothing going on. Right. No, I'm just kidding.
At least advocate for, if you work for a larger employer in the area, or even if you work for a small business in the local area, consider contributing in some way or advocating that they contribute. There's a huge program, and you can sponsor individual events, and you can sponsor all of the events. That's right. And there's plenty of opportunity for that. And all the things that are not like the streets themselves, the lights, the parking meters, and the stripes painted on the ground, everything other than that, if it's beautiful and nice, is done by one of those three entities.
Or one of our partner organizations.
Right.
I mean, we don't do it all by any means, but we really do help to contribute to that vibrancy. We always talk about it. It's that layer above the infrastructure that makes it beautiful, active, interesting.
Right.
It creates an experience for folks when they come down, and it makes them either want to come back or it makes them want to stick around longer.
Exactly.
And that's really the heart and soul of the work that we do.
The point I was trying to make with that was, and maybe I was being a little bit more dramatic than I needed to be, but a lot of people think that the things that you guys do is done by the city, and that that's where their tax dollars are going. Yeah. So I think, I'm already paying my city tax, it should be going to that. Well, that's not where the city taxes are going. That's a separate private organization that goes out and does all this funding and fundraising, and is operating with a staff of only 5.5 FTE people who work way more than that.
Oh,
and you're here.
Appreciate that.
Every day of the week and the weekends, and
we're here
all kinds of hours when there's special events. I'm assuming those days have to be 16-hour days or more.
Oh yeah, definitely. There are some very long days, but when you love what you do, it's all right.
So
it's all right. We try to balance that out.
Absolutely.
Right?
So what are your most favorite things that are coming up?
Well, I'm going to say night market because it's new and it's exciting, and
no rain.
Yeah. Ooh,
Last year there was no rain, and man, it was packed.
It was chilly though. It was chilly, but people came down. I mean, it's May, right? And I kind of giggle because the day we're recording this, it is like 70 degrees. It's almost 70 degrees in downtown, and it's
in the middle of March,
like March 12th.
Yeah,
it's bonkers.
I think the Mother Nature has something up the sleeve coming. So it always happens.
Coming. I don't know.
I have pictures from last year and the end of April of a snowstorm.
And a snowstorm. Yeah. Yes. That's happened to us a couple of times.
Here,
where we've had snowstorm on spring fashion show day. That's happened twice.
Nice.
Yeah. You just roll with the punches.
Just got to remind us that you're in Wisconsin.
You just roll with the punches. You just keep going.
So
all good.
Anything you want to part with? Any interesting info?
We've shared so much today. This was really fun.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for having me.
I have to say thank you to you and your staff. Really appreciate all you do. And we're happy to be part of the downtown.
And I'm going to say thank you to you and your staff for all you do to help to support us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Because it definitely takes a village. And if you're looking for IT help, I can't say enough good things about this team because they have bailed us out. So many projects, help guide us through to new solutions. And that's really what it's all about. Again, it takes a village, and give Jeff a call.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for the plug.
Yeah,
we're gonna take that little snippet and we're gonna use it. All right. Well, thank you,
Happy
Jennifer,
to.
for joining us today.
Yeah.
Really had a great time chatting with you about all this.
Me too.
I think I kind of weaved around a little bit, maybe didn't stay exactly on topic, but man, we talked about some good stuff. We didn't have enough time.
Covered a lot.
Yeah, there wasn't enough time.
There's good stuff coming.
That's right. Well, you're glad you're able to join us today. Make sure to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more exciting content. Make sure you reach out to us through our website if there's an IT or other topic you'd like to talk about, because we're not just stuck on IT stuff. Thank you for joining this conversation as you chart your course to your next destination. May your journey be filled with purpose and confidence. Until then, stay true to your compass.